Oh, hey there, don't you know? Welcome to another episode of the Midwestern Farmers Report. Today we are going to be looking at some of the new crop yields. We're also going to be going...
AJ, good one. Good accent, actually.
Accent.
How about you do the real show intro in that accent?
Welcome to the real show.
Welcome, everybody.
I suppose.
To the Evil Safety Dudes podcast. We're IBC's Evil Safety Dudes.
Evil Safety Dudes, don't you know?
And let me introduce to you AJ Hanscom. He is an authorized outreach OSHA instructor.
All right. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to introduce my partner in crime, Aaron Iacino, another OSHA authorized outreach instructor.
So what crime have we committed that I am your partner in crime?
The crime of safety.
Yes, because safety is a crime. People treat it like we're doing something bad when maybe we should be criminal safety dudes instead of evil safety dudes.
I tried to do that once for one of our intros, and you shot that one down.
Criminal safety dudes?
Yeah, we're the bad guys.
Yes, we're the bad guys
watch out for
we
safety.
don't want people to die.
When safety's against the law.
We make people tie off.
2 people will make you be safe.
We make people put on their personal protective equipment, and they hate us for it. All right, anyway.
I don't know why they get so angry.
Well,
how you been? It's been a minute, honestly. We had a whole bunch of stuff catching up on. Anything new going on with you lately?
Yeah, a ton of stuff. So my trip to Tennessee was successful. I am now a Krav Maga black belt.
Ooh, Krav black belt.
Yeah, it was insane. It was the most
intense.
Mentally exhausting, physically exhausting, technique. Crazy, insane sparring, fighting multiple people at the same time. It was like the hardest thing.
That sounds like
physically I did. Some people's Friday night out, but
when I really want that last heap of mashed potatoes, it's basically just what you did.
How about you? What's new?
Nothing. Honestly, not like a huge update. Just
got through the holidays. Everybody's alive.
Oh yeah, survived.
Did you maintain no gain?
I was trying to gain some weight over the winter.
So you don't maintain
was.
no gain. You just gain.
I tried.
Okay.
I wanted to just pack on a little weight and see if I can grow a little fat tire. I did not. I failed.
I failed maintain no gain miserably. I ate Boston cream pie. I ate all kinds of good pies, man. It was good.
Too many pies to list.
I can't even remember.
Pies
But
beyond your wildest
I was having lots of pies. There's probably a pecan pie in there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sorry for those who say pecan.
Pecan pie? It's roof, not roof.
What are we talking about in this specific podcast?
Oh, I think today we're going to be going over, because it's, it's the start of the new year. We're still at the beginning of it. It's fresh in January. It's top of everybody's list, or at least it should be if you're a safety person. Getting your electronic reporting done.
This topic is going to go viral because every person in America wants to know about electronically submitting your OSHA, recordable injuries. Right?
I like your sincere optimism. You're like, this topipic is going to go viral.
Well, if people say, oh, you got a podcast? What's it about? It's AJ. It's about cars or weightlifting, right?
Yeah,
You're probably talking about how to defend against a knife attack, right?
Yeah,
and
rock
I'm
flag and eagle.
I'm like, no, actually, this next one's going to be on how to electronically submit your OSHA recordable numbers to OSHA in time.
Make sure that you're not breaking the law. Make sure you're staying compliant and keeping up. Gosh, you're going to have to help me out. Was 2018 or 17 the year where they literally flipped it over?
I don't remember, but when people find out that's what it's on, then they say, Aaron, I used to think you were cool. I used to think you were kind of a cool dude, but now that I know what you really do, you lost all your cool cred with me.
That's just gone, just like that, wiped out.
But yeah, you're right.
Cool credentials.
It's been a few years ago now that OSHA started requiring this, and the law went through so many changes. They used to make you do the 300 days, and then certain people had to do the 300s. That got shut down. They used to give us all the way till June when it was new. But this year,
it all had to be mailed in.
This year, it's March 2nd.
Oof.
It's really turned up the timetable because it's been several years now.
That's true.
We ought to have figured out how to do it by now.
Yeah.
But as you and I know,
folks.
Because you helped so many people, we felt it was a good idea to do the show. Not only just to remind people that it needs to be done, but how to do it.
Yeah.
So
we're going to walk them through it step by step.
All right, cool. Well, what do you got for a case study, as far as
Well, so I guess I got a weird one for you today. It's not necessarily so much a case study as in something that I think we did discuss it once before, but today it's a lot more pertinent. This whole electronic reporting thing, it is outside of not just OSHA anymore, because I have actually been hearing from several of my clients and helping them out with it that the state can actually request your information. So
I mean, they've always done that. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has randomly selected businesses and asked them for their logs.
But if you've never been on that random selection list, and so what happened to specifically one of my clients was last year, they get this email from the Bureau of Labor Statistics saying, hey, we need your 300A information, enter blah, blah, blah. And they thought it was just some sort of a reminder to get it done and put into OSHA. So they were like, I'm going to ignore this. I'll get this. I did my OSHA thing. This is done, right?
So they already electronically submitted to OSHA. So they assumed that was a bogus request.
Right. They were like, this is some reminder, government thing. It says .gov. So, yeah, I already did that. I'm good. But what they didn't know is that this was totally separate from OSHA. And this was actually Bureau of Labor Statistics requesting this data specifically. And they needed to actually go and do it again. And they almost got in a lot of trouble. They didn't, thankfully, when they got an email much later on in the year. And they were like, oh, you have to take this seriously. They were like, oh, crap. And so they did.
So did they, send it to you and say, hey, what is this? The threats where they were late or what? How did they know that they really had to do it?
Yeah, they forwarded it to me. They're like, we keep getting these. We got this done, right? And I was like, well, we got our OSHA done. But
okay, we got our electronic submission done, but this is the state Bureau of Labor Statistics asking for log info.
Yeah, exactly. And then once I told them, they were like, so should we get this done?
I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because that's really easy to confuse.
Yeah, because they both, it's the exact same request, and it's coming .gov. Yeah, and so a lot of people are like,
same info.
Yeah. Actually, and what I found out is your OSHA report, super easy. The BLS report is actually a lot more specific. You got to go in and enter like a lot more specific information about every single injury, every single incident.
I've done those over the phone, and I didn't think it was that labor intensive. I just kind of read the information for my 300A, but maybe they've upped the game since I did.
Yeah, they wanted to know the age of the employee, how long they've been at the company, the exact hire date.
Did you do it digitally?
Bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I called them because I had a client struggling with it. What is it? What do we got to do? And I said, I got you. I got this. So we set up a meeting. I called the number on the letter, and they took my information over the phone.
Yeah,
it was cool.
That's nice.
Yeah,
because honestly, that form that they give you on the online, it's specific. It's not like a ton of work, but it is a lot of specific data.
All right, next on OSHA updates regarding this topic. For those of you who are not aware, if you have over 250 employees, you're required to do this. And then some establishments with 20 to 249 employees must do it too, depending on their NAICS code. So you could find out all this information on OSHA.gov. There is a lot. I'll just read the top 10 because we only have a half-hour show. Agriculture, utilities, construction, manufacturing, wholesale trade, automotive parts, furniture stores, home furnishing stores, building material supplies and dealers, lawn and garden equipment, grocery stores, specialty food stores, department stores. There is a ton of...
Was that 10?
I don't know. I was just reading.
I wasn't counting.
Yeah, it was probably more. But
we promised them 10, Aaron. How dare you?
I didn't promise. But, there are a lot of companies that are required to do logs that if they have over 20, they got to electronically submit.
Yep.
So...
And that you can go exactly where Aaron told you and find out if you're on that list of people who needs to get this report done.
Yeah. All right. So now that's our OSHA update. That was fast, short and sweet.
It's a good update, though.
Yeah. How about new safety gear? I got one on this.
Okay.
New safety gear.
Okay. Let's
for
hear it.
OSHA.
Listen up, everybody.
Log
his hands
recording.
are up in the air. The Italian's hands are over his head.
Hey, because it's actually sarcastic. Because it's not new.
Okay.
But yet nobody's doing it, so it's like it's new.
Sure, I like that.
New technology for OSHA logs.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm going to fall over.
It's called Microsoft Excel.
This is the part where, you just hear my chair, hit the floor.
Do you know how many logs I'm asked to audit from someone? And it's barely legible chicken scratch handwriting on printed off paper.
I can make an assumption based on how many I have to do.
And I go, well, we got to change this. We got to change this. We got to change this. And they want to bust out the white out. I'm like, come on, man. It's 2021. It's 2020. Let's do this on an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
OSHA actually has on their website an Excel spreadsheet, which is pretty slick. Because you know how on Excel on the bottom there's those different tabs.
Yeah, so you got all the pages.
There's 3 tabs on this.
Yep.
There's your 300, your 300A, and your 301, which most people don't even know what a 301 is. But because I am an evil safety dork, I know what a 301 is. It's
what is it,
OSHA's version of an incident report.
Right.
But it's all right there. And you know what the cool thing about it? This is high tech.
Oh.
High tech.
High tech.
Blow your mind how far we've come.
I don't know if I can handle
as humans
the technology
with our inventive brains.
Okay.
When you put information into the first tab on the 300 form, it automatically moves it and populates it and adds it on the next tab on the 300A.
So when you're telling me when I get an injury and I fill it out on the 300, and then when I mark that it was an other than serious injury, and then when I go over to my 300A, that mark has already gone into the number 1.
It's amazing. It's a time-saving technological miracle of mankind.
That's insane.
So that's my new tech update for OSHA stuff.
You know, honestly, how often I don't see that. I would love it if people's minds were blown right now and just went and downloaded it. Like, it'd be so slick.
We're consultants,
so slick.
And we're supposed to be all super nice and stuff. And so I've given the speech so many times. What do you think the possibility is if we use an Excel spreadsheet for this? This would make this so much easier. Because you got to rewrite everything anyway once you audit it. There's so many issues.
Right.
Take this off, add this one.
Right.
We got to calculate these days right.
One of my favorite is, the injury itself has very specific wording in an exact order. And that's like the part that's always kind of jumbled.
Yeah.
It might not be a total train wreck, but it all might be in the wrong order. And so you have to white out the whole thing or 2 or 3 lines. Oh, it's so much easier if you can just type it.
Box hit knife with face.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened, but, we got to word it different. It's got to order here.
All right, so to electronic submission. We've talked about that it's been out for a while.
Yes.
And if one had not done this at all, and they're listening to us and they go, oh, man, we really should do this. We should be compliant. We don't want OSHA to turn their eye on us and find one more thing to cite us on.
Right.
How would a business get started in actually doing an electronic submission for the first time?
For the very first time, never done it before ever.
Right.
All right. So the first place you got to go is OSHA.gov.
That's amazing. I thought you would go to Twinkie.gov.
Twinkie, I don't think there is a government-supported Twinkie page. Twinkies.gov. So on OSHA.gov, you go to that front page. You'll see a bunch of OSHA information. You're going to see, whatever they have for a current picture. And sometimes it's like, I think all last summer, what I kept seeing was like a benzene update. So like there'll always be something new or something on that front page. But then to go for, if we're just focused on reporting, on the very top line, there's these like a gray bar, and there's 4 words on that gray bar, and each one has a drop-down menu. There's OSHA, standards, topics, and help and resources. So in order to do our reporting, you just go ahead and click topics, and then you go down, and in that drop-down bar will be record-keeping requirements and forms. And guess what you will find?
Record-keeping and forms? Yeah, I'm good.
And for free, right on that same page, there's a hyperlink, and if you click it, you will get an Excel spreadsheet of a blank OSHA 300 log.
Fancy, but back on track as far as electronics reporting.
Right. So once you do that, and you're on your record keeping and requirements page, let me see, because they've updated the page. I'm actually sitting on it right now. You're going to go ahead and...
Is it true that you have to like build a profile first before you could electronically submit?
Well, and they have that. So here, let's see.
So you're not on a laptop, right? You're on your little phone.
I'm using my little phone, but I'm using the web page view, so I can actually see exactly what people see when they go on their laptop.
Because you have to open up like a whole separate place, right?
Yeah, it runs it.
There's a hyperlink, and you.
Yeah, and it runs it on its own, like not an app, but it's like its own window. And it's just like this little task that launches, and then you just got to fill out your company information.
It's called like ITRITP or something. We'll find it for you later on in the show.
The ITA, Injury Tracking Application. And so there, I found it. It's this little hyperlink. It says ITA launch page. You'll click that, and then boom, I'm there. I'm on the ITA launch page. right up on the first top right, there's this big red box that says launch the injury tracking application, and it just walks you through it.
But before that, don't you got to set up a company profile so you could even enter data into that?
Oh, so yeah, if you've never, ever done this before,
Right.
yeah, from this page, then you can go to, and it shows you who, what, when, where, how. It actually lays it all out.
Does it say something like first-time visitor? Or it would say like, have been non-compliant for years and want to get compliant?
Oh yeah, that's a couple pages in the page. Yeah, actually.
Because once you go and you put your company, let's make up a company, AJ Pipe Busters.
Ooh, the Pipe Busters.
All right.
All right.
So if this is AJ Pipe Busters, first year electronically reporting,
right.
You actually got to go in and make a profile for that company because that company
right.
doesn't exist on that web page.
Right.
And then you get some kind of notification back that you're in. You probably get a username and password, right?
Yeah, so that you can log in to the ITA.
Right. Because before you do that, you could go into ITA all you want, and you're not going to be able to submit anything because your company doesn't exist in that yet.
Right. So just to show it, just to be that extra mile, is when you click that big red button that says launch the ITA thing, the very first thing right underneath the title, it says create an account.
Okay, bam. That's what I was looking for. So
yep.
Create an account. You get your company data in there. You get username, password.
Yep.
And then I don't remember if you could automatically turn around and log back in, or if it like takes a day for that like company profile to be.
Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure if it does. If it's
but
like has to process.
It's not a long time though.
Once you get that email confirming, then yeah, you can just go and then you're in and you can log in.
And then you log in and then you just basically transfer your 300A data into their.
Yeah, it's just got a couple open boxes and it'll say, hours worked, average number of employees, injuries, fatalities.
You do a lot more of these than I do. It's been a minute, but I remember it gave me options. I could upload a form in a certain format, which is a really weird format. I can never get it right, the name of it, but it's like dots and something like that. Or you could just type in the data, and I always pick to type in the data.
Me too. Yeah, because it was always just...
It's fast.
Yeah.
There's not that much on a 300A.
No.
And if it's already filled out, you're just...
Right.
I mean, I'm not the greatest typist in the world, and I could probably type in all that info in like 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah, even less.
Yeah.
60 seconds if you got the thing right there.
Yeah. So, and then the key that I tell everybody once they've actually successfully done that, they should get an email from OSHA saying that it's been done, it's been completed, it's been accepted, it occurred.
So after you have entered all your data and you click submit, the page kind of refreshes, and then there's actually you don't want to accidentally navigate away from the page, because if you're not paying attention, it's actually asking you right there, like, are you sure you're ready to submit your company's data for the year, blah, blah, blah. So you kind of have to hit submit or like accept one more time.
Okay.
And then, boom, it goes through and it says right there on the screen, congratulations, your company submitted its data for whatever year, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, okay, cool. They told me for sure that I'm done.
I remember them sending an email to some of our clients that it occurred.
They probably did.
Because I told them, save that email, print that email. If they ever said you didn't do it, you have proof you did it.
You did it right there.
But on what you were saying, if there's a screen that says, you have successfully submitted this, this has been accepted, I would screenshot that too.
You can.
Yeah, I would definitely. You always want proof you did what you're supposed to do, 100%. You got to have proof that you did what you're supposed to do. You never leave it to the judges. Something could have happened there electronically.
Right.
And they say you didn't do it, and you say they could have lost all the records. You don't know in this digital world.
Right.
The whole country just got hacked, right?
Sure.
So having that proof that you did it, I think would go a long way, especially if they're trying to say you didn't do it.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about some violations, just record keeping in general. Okay, so.
So you just want to dive into record keeping?
I want to dive into record keeping. We got 10 minutes left on
record
this.
Keeping's rough.
I don't think there's much more we can go into electronic reporting.
All right. I'm game.
So let's talk about the most common citations when OSHA is looking at someone's 300 log.
Okay.
What do you think the number one citations are? Or just when you're auditing them, what do you see most often not completed correctly?
Blank boxes.
Leaving blanks?
Leaving blanks.
Okay.
Like that whole line is supposed to be filled out, and they didn't Maybe they didn't create an incident number, which they were supposed to.
Okay.
And you can
Now let's
BS
talk about that for a minute. But yeah, because people they're stuck on that.
Yeah, they're like,
just
what is
make it up.
number?
What I do is I go, say it's 2020, and say it's my 10th one, or say it's my first.
Say it's
one.
first
And
one.
I don't know what to do. I would
First
put
incident.
01-20.
Yeah, incident
Something-
1 from
yeah.
the year 20.
Yeah,
right?
something, whatever.
But
But
it's so funny. I actually do the opposite.
okay,
I would go 20-01.
yeah, but people think that there's like a fancy way to do that. You could go A,
it does seem
B,
specific, yeah.
You could put your name.
But you can't leave it blank.
You could just put symbols in there.
Right.
The symbols formerly known as incidents. It doesn't matter, right?
I'm leaving the tent. That's it.
But
I'm out of here.
people actually get caught up in that one. For me, the most common issue I see on them, I think it's column F with the description of the incident.
Oh, yeah. No, I would agree with that.
It's pretty clear on there. It says you have to write down what they were doing that caused the injury and what part of the body was affected.
Right.
So what I see all the time, let's say a guy bent over to pick up a heavy box and he, slipped a disc. Okay, lower lumbar.
Yeah.
Okay, slip disc. But on the OSHA 300 in column F, they'll say hurt back. Let's
so
say
it
he
wasn't
cut
the-
his right thumb, a 1-inch laceration, while he was opening a box with a box knife. I'll just see hurt hand, cut hand.
Cut, yeah.
It doesn't say cut
Or-
right thumb while opening a box with a box cutter.
All right, here. I actually just downloaded just because I'm already on the OSHA.gov.
Okay.
So here's the wording. It says, describe injury or illness, part of body affected, and object substance that directly injured or made person ill. So you go the description of the injury, the part that was affected, and then what caused the injury.
And I don't know if it matters in the order, but you got to have all those pieces there.
Oh, I see. I
So-
always thought the order was specific. Like you had to do it in that way.
I've worked citations on this, and
Yeah.
it was never on order. It was just on
As long as
not
all
hitting
three
all those
pieces.
things. So let's mess with you. Okay, AJ, I'm
Uh-oh.
going to put you on the spot. Ready?
Oh, man.
Okay, guy cuts his right thumb with a box cutter from opening a box.
Okay.
And then they document it as cut thumb. What's wrong? What needs to be added?
Well, cut thumb, it's not specific to what thumb.
So right thumb.
You need right thumb, so you got to add that. And you got to add the activity, right? So what are we missing? Describe the injury. So we said cut, which isn't great. You probably should put
That
like
would be
lacerated.
with box knife while opening box.
Did they put that, or do we need to add?
No, they just put cut thumb.
Okay, so then we need to put what cut him. It was the box
Yeah.
cutter.
And right thumb. All
Right
right,
thumb.
let's give you another one. Hurt back.
Oh yeah. So now we're missing everything. So what kind of?
You got the back.
But we need to know what kind of an injury though. So it could
Okay.
be, it could be just a strained muscle, or it could be broken bone. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
we need to
Sprayed,
know.
strain, bruise.
Yeah.
You
So we
know,
need to know
could be-
what kind of an injury.
Yeah.
We need to know what part of the back.
Diagnosis.
Yeah, and then what actually hurt the back?
Yeah,
You know,
so
was it a fall onto
Lower
something?
lumbar strain from lifting box off floor.
Right.
That would be okay.
Well, sure, yeah, because
Yeah.
that hit all the three spots. If you just say hurt back, what if the guy fell off a ladder and him striking the ground is what hurt his
Right.
back?
And
we
OSHA's
wouldn't know.
on to it. OSHA's on to it.
Yeah,
Because somebody will put hurt back because either they just don't know what they're supposed to write in there or
Mhm.
they're intentionally trying to downplay it.
right.
So instead
He
of
just hurt his back.
yeah, hurt back, but it's like he broke 5 ribs, compound fractures, shoved one of those through his lung,
Caught in
and
between
deflated a
forklift.
lung. Yeah, hurt back.
Yeah, hurt
So
back.
OSHA's onto it. They want to know deets, man. They want to know the details.
Ooh, I got another one for you. You just reminded
Okay.
me of another one that honestly you and I fix all the time, and maybe you're just like missing that we fix it. But the location of the injury, all the time, I'll see them like put an address.
Right.
Like they'll look at the box and they'll be like, "Oh, location of injury, 100 Main Street." Somebody will
Right.
just put that down, and they're like, "No, OSHA doesn't want that." They even say it on the log. They're like, "We want to see loading dock. We want to
Do
see."
you have that
job
pulled
site."
up still? Can you read the
Yeah, it's right here. It says employee's name, job title, date of injury, where the event occurred, e.g., loading dock north end.
Okay, so what I try to do to protect clients
Mm-hmm.
and what they do, which does not protect themselves, is they actually put their customer's name on there.
Right.
So let's say I'm a HVAC contractor
Mm-hmm.
and I'm on the roof of, I don't know, let's make something up, a Wendy's, and I got hurt. And then they fill out that box and they go, at Wendy's.
See, and I don't think that would even work either, because I know what I've read these reports before, and I think what the Bureau of Labor Statistic is really trying to do, and that's why they put loading dock, is what they're trying to do is find out where these injuries occur.
No,
so
exactly.
They wanted to hear rooftop.
Yeah, 100%. And my issue with it, though, is you know this very well because you do a ton of pre-qualification. You assist with a lot of pre-qualification surveys if they're old school documents sending, or if they're actually some kind of third-party qualification like ISNet World, Avetta, whatever, approved,
First Veriforce.
Yeah. And they all want logs, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I want to hire an HVAC contractor. Right. I got 5 bidding to do the job at my plant. I ask for all their logs, and I see that they're getting hurt on locations because they're naming locations. They're naming these plants and locations.
Right.
I'm thinking, man, I don't want them. They're gonna name
that
me.
That could be a huge red flag.
Yeah, they're gonna name me on there.
Right.
That's my business. What happens in here? I don't want to be on another company's OSHA log. So, yeah. So it doesn't meet the goal of finding out where, because they want to know where the injuries are, and then it also makes you look bad for the clients you're trying to get work at.
No, I agree with that totally.
When you put their name down on there,
all the way.
So, when do you have to record something?
So, according to the OSHA standard, you need to get it recorded and put on your logs. Pretty much right away. You have I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a short time frame.
Yeah, 7 days.
7 days.
7 days from finding out it was recordable, not 7 days from injuries, because sometimes an injury starts off non-recordable, and then a few days later it turns recordable.
Yeah.
For something,
Right.
And so you got 7 days from finding out it was recordable.
7 days.
And see, I know a lot of people that wait till like January to do it.
Oh my, no, and that's why I'm always telling people right away. When'd you find out about it? Well, I just found out about it. All right, let's put it on your OSHA log.
Let's get it on the log.
Yeah, let's just do it right now.
How about you seen people put stuff on their logs that doesn't need to be on there?
Oh yeah,
100%.
I've seen some real and I don't want to say I'll say it's dinky things that
first aid
should not be, and they're writing it down. They're like, oh man, we had 3 injuries this year. And I'm like, none of this is beyond first aid. This is, but you put a Band-Aid on it.
And I love that clause. And I love it when I get to take something off a log for a client, because then you're like a hero, right?
They're like, yeah.
But we're not doing anything illegal. It's that it didn't meet the recordable criteria. Not all injuries meet the recordable criteria.
Correct.
It has to be something beyond first aid. Something that got a diagnosis.
Right.
Something that got lost time. Something that got a restricted duty. Something like loss of consciousness. Those would all be recordable, but a guy gets cut and you go and you wash it off and you put some Neosporin on it and you slap a Band-Aid on it and he goes back to work. That's not recordable.
No, that was all first aid.
Now it's an incident.
Sure.
And it should be investigated. We should have an incident report, but it's not recordable.
Now here's a fun one that I always chase down all the time. Whenever it comes up, I'm trying to get everybody on board with keeping Sharps injury logs, because there are places where that is required.
Yeah, even though I'm a nurse, I don't deal with that a lot. I think it's specifically dealing with hospitals. And,
where it's required
needle sticks
is typically medical.
Yeah. So I don't get to do those a whole bunch, but yeah, needle sticks are no fun. That's considered recordable. Yeah, for sure. All right, so
I just popped in there because you were like, yeah, sometimes Band-Aids, and I was like, well, sometimes.
Let me mess with you again. Put you on the spot in front of our millions of listeners.
All 8 of you. Are you ready to hear me get embarrassed?
What is the difference between an OSHA recordable injury and an OSHA reportable injury?
I thought you were going to stump me.
I hear those incorrectly used all the time.
Well, I'm glad at least you asked me an easy question.
Well, it's not easy to everybody else, because how many times have people said, my reportables? And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
you got a reportable and I didn't know about it?
Okay. All right.
Because the reportable is what?
I'll humor you. I'll walk you through the whole thing.
Okay, thank you.
So we're talking all today. We've been talking about recordables and submitting your recordable data to OSHA. A recordable is when you have to, by the requirements, record the injury onto your OSHA log. Now, that does not make it a reportable. A reportable is it's a very small list of things. Death is a reportable, and you have to report a death to OSHA within 8 hours. So if you have an actual death, or what's the term they're going for? Fatality. There you go.
Yeah.
And then your next level is your amputation.
Okay.
Loss of consciousness.
No.
Or sorry. Amputation, Hospitalization. Loss of an eye.
Loss of an eye.
That's the loss I was looking for. Loss of an eye. And those are going to be your reportables, and you only have 24 hours to report those. You got to call 1-800-OSHA. You can get online at OSHA.gov and tattletale on yourself.
So, I mean, technically, reportable is recordable.
Right.
But not all recordables are reportables.
Correct.
So I'm glad we were able to really make it more confusing for everybody just when our show is over.
Perfect.
So I want to thank you all for tuning in to IBC's Evil Safety Dudes, where we discuss all things OSHA related.
Oh, yeah, don't you know?
And how not to die at work.
Please don't die out there.
Until next time, everybody.
And the next time we see ya.
See you later.
Goodbye.